How is it going, everyone? Want to give you guys some news and notes on Halo Campaign Evolved coming to PlayStation 5. Games Radar had an exclusive interview with two leads from Halo Studios, and they spoke a little bit on why Halo is coming to PlayStation 5. I found their statements a little interesting. Halo on PlayStation 5 is a big deal. Even if it's just a ground-up remake of the original Halo's campaign, and just a ground-up remake of the original Halo's campaign on PlayStation 5, it might be putting it a little bit lightly, but this is a big deal. And, you know, it was one thing when Forza came over to PlayStation 5. That was a big deal as well, and I don't want to diminish Gears of War coming to PlayStation 5 because I still think that's a big deal. But Halo was absolutely the game that's synonymous with Xbox. The identity of Xbox, I feel like a lot of that is tied to Halo, and you could say the trio is Gears, Forza, Halo. Some people would put Fable in there as well, but in terms of the three franchises that have been super consistent, it's Gears, Halo, and Forza. And I say consistent in terms of release output. Quality can be debated, and with the release of Halo Campaign Evolved, it will be that entire collection of games that are synonymous with Xbox are now available on PlayStation, and we know the next mainline multiplayer-oriented, competitive multiplayer-oriented Halo title will be on PlayStation 5 as well. Halo will be on PlayStation going forward, and in an exclusive interview with Games Radar Plus, two leads from the Halo Studios explain exactly why it made sense to release this iteration of Halo on a Sony machine. They noted, "We hope to bring along the series veterans who have been with us for the past 25 years on the Xbox and PC platforms and have them be able to play with this entirely new generation." That is coming from Damon Kahn, executive producer on Halo Campaign Evolved. Maybe it's people who have never been exposed to Halo because they've always been on Sony products, or maybe they just missed it, or maybe they switched consoles at a certain point and they want to kind of come back together. I think it is a lot of that. I think a lot of people, especially over here in America, had an Xbox 360 in the Xbox 360 era, and Halo was a big part of that era. People love Halo 3. Halo 3 is one of the most iconic games of all time, in my opinion, but a lot of people also did shift to PlayStation, come to PlayStation 4 and into the PlayStation 5, so I do think it's an element of, yes, there are people that have been lifelong PlayStation guys and only on PlayStation, but you're also talking about reintroducing this IP to people that made the jump to PlayStation 4, because remember, that's when the swing really occurred. It was the PlayStation 4 era, and mind you, that was 13 years ago. Halo 3, the height of Halo, and I would say, you know, Halo Reach was big as well. The Halo 3 came out, what is it? Next year would be 20 years ago. This year, in September, it'll be 19 years ago. Halo Reach, it was like 16 years ago. These games are, to me, they don't feel that old. Like, I still remember it like yesterday, the Halo 3 standees everywhere in the malls and whatnot, but that was a long time ago, and Halo has been missing for a lot of people. You know, I know there are Halo games that have been coming out, but for a lot of people, they haven't jumped back into this franchise if they did jump over to the PlayStation console with the PS4, when, again, that big swing did happen. He rightly notes that the original is a masterpiece, and the team's goal isn't to make a replacement, but something that sits alongside Combat Evolved. If that is the case, I would argue, you know, after Halo Campaign Evolved, can we get the Master Chief Collection? I know the idea is to remake Halo 2 and Halo 3 as well. I would love Halo Master Chief Collection, even if you want to eliminate the multiplayer, even if it's just the campaigns of Halo 1 through 4 and Halo Reach and Halo 3 ODST, of course. I would still love to see that, and I think a lot of people would appreciate that. And I think if you release Master Chief Collection at $60, even after Campaign Evolved, I still think a lot of people would check that out. Do I think they're gonna do that? Probably not. I think that Microsoft doesn't want to be in this standpoint of competing with themselves if they view it that way, but I really don't think they would be competing with themselves. I think people would check out the remakes. I think people would check out the originals. Maybe it also gets to a point, if you spam too much Halo, it dilutes the novelty of Halo being on PlayStation 5. I totally get that, and bear in mind that 2026 we'll probably see the release of two new Halo titles, Halo Campaign Evolved, and potentially the next, you know, multiplayer-centric Halo title. So that's a lot of Halo Halo, I do wonder what the turnaround time is going to be if they do ultimately remake the Halo 2 and Halo 3 campaign. Hopefully it's not 5 years of dev time for those and they can get them out fairly quickly, because I want the entire Halo saga to be available on PlayStation sooner rather than later. That's why I was hoping for a Master Chief Collection port and not necessarily this remake. I'm excited for the remake, but MCC getting ported would have just given us all the games right off the bat, and then you could drop the remakes as well, but it is what it is. They continued, Halo is really, best played when we have a large, healthy community. We're able to honor the Halo legacy on PlayStation. It's just paving the way to expand our Halo universe. That's how we see it. And I totally get the idea of Halo is best when they have a large, healthy community. The counterpoint to that is Halo Campaign Evolved, the only Halo game that's officially announced for PlayStation 5, is a campaign-oriented game. You don't really need a large, healthy community for that, because people are just gonna jump on and probably play co-op with their friends if they're gonna play co-op, or they're gonna play it single player. However, I think people are getting it lost that remember that this is gonna lead to a wave of games coming to PlayStation. It's not just gonna end at Halo Campaign Evolved. They will ultimately get a multiplayer game out on PlayStation 5, and that's the game that I think a lot of it is going to ride on the future of Halo, because while Campaign Evolved in a vacuum will be a big release and people will be excited for it, people I think will spend a premium on it, and I'm really curious on what that price point is going to be. I think $70 would be a little bit too much. I think 50 to 60 would be ideal. 70, even with the novelty of it being Halo on PlayStation, because it's the campaign only, and people will realize that, $70 for a game that you're probably going to be able to beat in 10 hours, even if there's a good deal of replayability, that's just going to push a lot of people away. I would really go with the $50 price tag. I think that would be ideal. I could see 60 for them to capitalize on the novelty of Halo coming to PlayStation 5. I could honestly even see 70. Some of these price points are just insane these days, and I'm sure they'll do a digital deluxe edition where maybe you'll get fake early access and things of that nature, and they'll do all of that as well. But we'll see how all of that turns out. Look, I'm incredibly excited for Campaign Evolved. I know some people are not crazy about it and they want the original and they feel there's, charm in the original that's not there in Campaign Evolved. Look, Halo on PlayStation 5, I think, above all, is just a massive, massive deal, and it's gonna do well. Although, I also thought Gears of War Reloaded was gonna do a little bit better than it did. Gears of War Reloaded was, the original game being released. It's not like a total remake, but Gears of War Reloaded also had multiplayer. I am really curious how Campaign Evolved does, how the next Halo multiplayer game does, because that, again, is gonna be the big one, because ultimately, what Microsoft wants out of Halo is this live service experience that they can monetize for years and years. We know that's what every publisher under the sun, Sony included, that's what they want. They want to take their major IPs, and if they can spin it into a live service experience, they'll absolutely do that. That's what Forza Horizon 6 is going to be. That's what Gears of War E-Day is going to be. That's what Halo Campaign Evolved is going to be. Bear in mind that Sony literally wanted God of War to be that as well when Bluepoint was working on a God of War game. That's just the reality of it, and that's the issue with you have to understand when it comes to MCC and wanting the multiplayer included in these games and the original multiplayer. I am sure that Microsoft is coming from the thought process of, hey, we're gonna end up competing with ourselves if Campaign Evolved has a multiplayer, and we don't want them to play the multiplayer game that we can't monetize for the long term. That's why multiplayer isn't included. Remember when Activision had Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 remastered and they didn't include the multiplayer on that? These things are done strategically because they want you to spend your time playing multiplayer games on the live service games and not the games that they can't monetize. And hopefully the live service game ends up well, but yeah, it is a bummer that that's a reality we just have to accept, and I can understand it from a business standpoint. I can also understand the argument against it, because Halo has this perception of being so cooked that if you do want to build a lot of goodwill, the original Halo titles, when they do get remade, having that multiplayer in there or some form of multiplayer, competitive PvP multiplayer, I think that would be exciting for a lot of people, but ultimately I just don't think Microsoft is going to go down that route, because they want to monetize the live service games and they don't want to split your time. They don't want you to invest time in multiplayer, PvP multiplayer that is, of these Halo remakes when, that time for them is best spent on these live service projects that they got coming out as well. So it is what it is, but that's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts, your excitement level for Halo Campaign Evolved, and more than anything, I really want to know, what's the price point? I think the price point on this is gonna be so interesting. I think $50 is ideal, but I could easily see them going the 60 or 70 route to try to capitalize on the novelty of Halo. But I just think there's going to be a lot of people hard-pressed to spend 60, 70 bucks on a game that's going to be fairly short and not have multiplayer. You know, I love me my short games, but I know that for a lot of people, this is a remake of a game that came out however long ago, and they're not going to get that much mileage out of it. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.